My name is Gabby. I am the Director of Career Services here at University of the People, and I'm excited to be here to share with you this opportunity with our partner, Virtual Internships. The intention of today is first to share with you this opportunity, give you a bit of an explanation of what the program with Virtual Internships looks like, from all different viewpoints, and then to leave lots of time for you to ask meaningful questions to understand whether or not this is an opportunity that would be something that would align with your career goals, your needs, and your wants. So during the course of the presentation, just to give you a little flow for today, I will share my screen. I will go through a deck, a presentation that will last approximately 20 minutes. The reason it is lengthy is really because I know there's lots of questions and I want to make sure that I try to address some of them ahead of time so it makes a little bit of sense how this program works, because it is sort of a unique offering here at University of the People. Then I will stop sharing my screen and be able to answer every and all questions I hope that you bring to me. So please know you have the opportunity to post questions in the chat as well as in the Q&A. You do not need to wait till the end of the presentation to pop those questions in the chats. And I say that because sometimes if we wait till the end of the 25-minute presentation, we might have already forgotten our question. So don't hesitate to sort of write the questions into the chat as we go along. But to get us started, I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And then I am going to go through this presentation. So you all probably noticed that your microphones have been muted, and that we are actually recording this webinar so that it can be sent out to you afterwards in case you want to reference it or go back and view any portion of it. So as I mentioned, please ask questions along the way. I will make sure to answer them all after I get through this brief deck. So today we're going to cover why we're here, a little bit about remote work, what it means to work remotely and how that is beneficial in the job market. Talk a little bit about what Virtual Internships is. Now, when I say that, I actually mean Virtual Internships, the partner organization that we work with. It's a little bit confusing because obviously we're talking about a virtual internship with a company called Virtual Internships. So just so that makes a bit more sense. I'll talk a little bit about their program and offering. Then I will talk very specifically about how the program works here in the courses at University of the People and what the classroom experience will be like. And then we'll do some question and answers. So first and probably most important is a little bit about Virtual Internships, the organization. The university has, over the last, I would say, year plus, been trying to work alongside a partner called Virtual Internships to try to establish a continuous availability of virtual internship opportunities for our students. We are in the midst of being able to offer cohorts of students to start this program. And who Virtual Internships is they are an organization that offers worldwide virtual internship opportunities in a variety of industries. So they have partners all over the world and globe, employer partners who offer internship opportunities to students at a variety of different institutions and locations, and they are partnered with us here at University of the People to offer our students those experiences. We've really decided to partner with an organization that offers a virtual internship opportunity because we know that it's critical to develop some of those skills for employers. And I say that because we are very much working in a remote type of job market these days, and being able to gain skills in a remote world is very critical. And it's also critical to start to gain real world experience to put on your resume. And this is a wonderful way to do that. Our second hope was obviously that partnering with a virtual internship would give students the ability to continue to develop their own personal network globally. So as you know, whether it's LinkedIn or different kinds of connections, it is really essential in the job market and thinking about your future career that you have a network and that you have people to reach out to. Those people know other people, can introduce you. So it's a way to help you establish your own global network. We also wanted to make sure that we partnered with an organization that offered the same flexibility that we do here at University of the People. So ability to do an internship integrated into your current lifestyle, your current studies, and your current work, whether that be part-time or full-time work that you might be doing alongside your program here at the university. And lastly, we wanted an organization that really had an amazing support network so that our students felt wildly supported. They felt like they had someone to go to and really felt secure in obtaining an internship. Now, for right now, this opportunity for virtual internships program is only offered to select students. So the fact that you had an invitation to attend today means that you are eligible to participate in this program. And we are excited to be able to share that with you. Now I'll go through like a little bit more detail about what it means to work remotely and do a virtual internship. And just so you know, I've been doing career services, working in career services for almost 20 years now. Virtual internships is something very new and very exciting. And that's why I go through a bit of the detail about what it means, because it is a different way to think about an internship. So now, what is remote work? What are some of the benefits? I'm sure some of it is intrinsic to you and makes perfect sense, but I like to give a little bit of an overview. So remote work, also known as like work from home, telecommuting, sometimes known as sort of a virtual environment or even a hybrid situation, means that you have the flexibility to do your working arrangement with an employer, between an employer and employee, from a remote location outside of a corporate physical setting, right? So very much like we are today, being able to do informational sessions, meetings, conduct business over something like a Zoom or any kind of platform where we can simply video chat and we can communicate and still be able to get work accomplished. Now, remote workers are located all over, right? So there are some that work from home, like myself. I'm working from the comfort of my home office in Southern California right now. There are individuals who opt to work in what we call co-working spaces, which are establishments that allow individuals to basically rent space where they kind of are in a working environment with other professionals working, but it's not their specific companies. There's people working on all different kinds of projects and all different kinds of companies. Then there's individuals that, to be honest, this is something that I've only heard of in the last couple of years, but digital nomads. So people who opt to work remotely so that they can be in any location across the globe at any time, meaning one day they can be in Zurich working and the next day they can be in Argentina working and the next week in the US. And as long as they can adjust their time zones, they can literally be anywhere in the world conducting and performing work. Now, why is working remotely a critical thing and potentially very important for an employee in the job market? Since COVID, many companies and employers have decided to either permanently do remote employment or some version of hybrid employment. And I think that you probably all know that post-COVID and post any pandemic, we learned things. And one of the things that employers learned was that they can save money on potential overhead, right? The cost of renting space in a building and paying electric bills and snack machines for employees. And they can actually have employees work potentially more productively from their own homes or from their own computers. They also discovered that they have access to a more global and diversified workforce if they don't require someone to come into an office. And the reason I say that is because now people can work from all different countries, all different states, all different cities, all different locales and regions for a company, bring a diversity of skills, background, experience, knowledge, and capabilities. That was not possible before when people had to go into a physical location to work together. You had a smaller geographic area in which to find employees. The reason now that we're offering a virtual internship is because we know that working remotely is different than working in an office. It requires some different kinds of skills. It requires a bit of practice. It also requires a bit of internal motivation and internal monitoring of your own work. And so doing a virtual internships gives you that experience, number one, to make sure it's something that really fits your work style and needs, but also gives you an opportunity to show employers that you've done it before, you've done the remote work, you can do the remote work. There's also certain skills that have become very valuable to employers over the last several years. Those skills are much more around soft skills. So things that we would call flexibility, problem solving, analytical thinking, being able to think on your feet, being agile, being able to adjust your work style, being culturally aware and inclusive. Remote work allows you to begin to understand those soft skills, develop them, and be able to showcase them during an interview or on your resume. The last part of this is employers have become very comfortable over the last several years interviewing in a remote way, even if the position is not remote. And this is simply because it requires a bit less time and investment for the company to conduct interviews and really get a sense of what kind of talent is out there. So if nothing else, a remote internship or experience gives you practice talking to someone through a video. I know that sounds a bit weird, but oftentimes we don't realize that people can still get a true sense of who we are, our personality, how much energy we have, how excited we are, how capable we are through a video conference call. And so this also gives you the opportunity to experience that, gain a bit of skill in that, and understand, like, what should your background look like? What room should you be in? How is your Wi-Fi connection? All of those things as well. So what does a remote internship mean? A remote internship means very much the same thing as a physical in-person internship, except that you will gain the experience from the comfort of your home or the location you choose to work from. You will still be fully supervised and supported by your host company, and you will still gain important industry knowledge in your chosen career field. So there will be some aspects of a traditional internship that will stay the same in a remote internship. You will still have required meetings with your supervisor and with your teammates. You will still work on a mix of individual and group projects. You will still get a sense of an overall company's culture and environment, all things that you would get in a more traditional internship as well. But lastly, you will get the flexibility to do some of that work to meet timelines in a way that works for your own personal schedule. So again, why do a virtual internship? Get the experience that employers are looking for. We also know that real-world experience is critical in the job market. I'm sure many of you have heard the term entry-level employment, and then I'm sure many of you have also heard experiences, either your own personal experiences or experiences from those people that you know, where they say, how do I get an entry-level role? Everyone wants experience, even though it says entry-level. Most employers consider internship or real-world project work to be equivalent to employment experience. So being able to say that you completed an internship where you worked on real-world projects with an employer can very much help you to talk about experience and be sort of above an entry-level employee. And lastly, it's about gaining those soft skills and really having that confidence as a candidate that you can do any work anywhere. So here are the key components, right? We've talked about that flexible work schedule, but what does it mean in a virtual internship? For us, what it is going to mean is 2 consecutive courses spanning from term 3 through term 4 of this academic year. The first term will be very much focused on helping you find and get established in an internship opportunity. The second term, or that term 4, will be focused on 8 weeks of 15 hours per week of an internship and gaining that valuable experience. One of the very most important things to remember about this opportunity is that the idea is that you can continue doing other courses here at the university, continue doing other work that you might do at the same time that you do this internship opportunity. It is not intended to preclude you from doing what you are already doing. It is intended to be very much like a course you are already taking here at the university time-wise, so that you can do this course along with other courses and along with anything else that you have going on in your life at the same time. The last couple things I'm going to talk about are really focused on virtual internships, the partner specifically. Virtual internships has made sure that the internship opportunities they offer students are project-based. The reason that this is so critical is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the virtual internships is working to place each student with a host company that matches their specific career needs and objectives. What does the student want to learn? What kinds of projects would be meaningful for them to get experience with? During those interview process with virtual internship, this is actually what you're interviewing about and learning about with the host company, the project-based work, to make sure that the projects you'd be working on during the internship align with your needs and your skills and the skills you want to develop. The other reason this is critical is because this allows you to walk away with a very concrete project-based work to add to your resume, to add to your LinkedIn, to share in an interview, to say, I worked on A, B, C projects at this host company. These are the skills I developed. Here's the work that I produced. So those are very important ways to think about an internship so that you're thinking about really getting critical, meaningful experience. The last thing about virtual internships, the partner, that I love to share is sort of their wraparound support. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it's one of the reasons we partnered with virtual internships specifically. They have a dedicated team that works with our students to help you from the very beginning. You are matched with a placement advisor, so someone who is actually asking you questions around the type of work that you would like to do to help match you to the right company. They're helping prepare you for the interviews with the host companies. They are making sure on a weekly basis when you're in your interview experience that you and the employer are having a good experience, that communication is sound, that if there's any questions, problems, issues, they're being addressed immediately. At the same time, virtual internships also offers an amazing career curriculum. They offer the ability for the students participating in the internship to attend expert webinars, to attend weekly peer discussion groups, as well as gain certifications directly from virtual internships at the end of the program. Now, one of the things you're probably asking yourself is, okay, Gabby, this sounds great. Everything sounds good, but what is it like for students? So I want to give you a few statistics from virtual internships directly to help you understand that. Approximately 28% of the students who do a virtual internships with this partner are invited to continue working with their matched company after the internship experience is over. Now, this is sometimes in the form of paid employment, sometimes in the form of contract work, and sometimes in the form of continued unpaid internship experience. 88% of the alumni that do a virtual internship with this partner say that after completing the virtual internship, they feel more able to work remotely. And 81% of the alumni agree that they're more confident in going out and getting a job. And confidence is a big thing in the job market, as I'm sure you can imagine, because it can be really daunting and it can be scary and it can be difficult. And you can hit lots of roadblocks in the job search. So having skills, having confidence, having had experience, help to boost you to a different level than another candidate. Now that I've talked about virtual internships, the partner, let me talk a little bit about how we've integrated this program into the university here and give you an overview of what the courses look like. As you probably read in the email invitation, as well as have heard today, the requirement and time commitment here is a 2-term time commitment. They must be taken consecutively. So this program begins, course 1 of this program begins in term 3, which starts in January of the next year. During those first 8 weeks, you will complete an application on Virtual Internships portal directly. The application will include information about your background, some video submissions so employers can get a sense of who you are. And then during those 8 weeks, you will work directly with the placement team at Virtual Internships to do interviews and be matched with a host company. I want to make sure everyone understands that no matter what, you will be matched with the host company. That is the guarantee of the partner virtual internships. That internship, though, will not begin until term 4, which is April of next year. Those 8 weeks of term 4 will be dedicated to your internship experience. The requirement is 15 hours a week of internship work along with some of the academic components of the course. These are some of the skills that you will be learning in the course alongside gaining that real-world experience. So in course 1, you're focusing very much on like how to prepare for your internship, right? How to communicate, how to set goals, how to reach goals, how to work in a team, how to collaborate. In the second course, you're actually utilizing skills that are meaningful in the work in the internship, right? So you're thinking more about critical thinking, global fluency, equity and inclusion, leadership, teamwork. So skills that are beneficial in the actual internship experience. Now, how does this program work logistically, let's say? Since you were invited to participate, when registration opens later this month, you will see this program available for you on your registration page. It will be there big, bold, and different than the regular registration, so you will see it. You will be able to click on it. You will be able to add it to your course load. The thing that's important to remember here is that these are elective courses, right? So these are entirely voluntary. You absolutely do not have to do the virtual internship program. It is just an option for you. It does count towards your course load allowed. It does count as an elective. You do earn credits for the course. You earn 3 credits for each of the courses. So since the commitment is 2 consecutive courses, you should earn 6 total credits at the end of the experience. If for some reason you do not move to the second term and you do not start your internship, but you finish the first course in term 3, you will still earn those 3 credits. The challenge is you don't earn the internship experience or the second 3 credits. When you register for the program, you will be asked to provide consent that you understand the terms of the program, meaning you understand that it is a 2-course commitment, that you understand that there is a cost associated with the program, and that it has a refund policy very similar to any other course at the university. This program, though slightly different from other courses, is a pay in advance program. What that means is that you have to pay for the program in its entirety before the course begins. Each course, remember 2 courses, is $180 US a course. That means the program in its whole both courses, is $360. You only pay for each course as it happens, meaning you pay for term 3, course 1, before term 3 starts, $180. You pay for term 4, course 2, before course 2 starts, $180. The classroom experience is also slightly different than what you might be used to here at the university, but similar to the elective courses. These are interdisciplinary courses, meaning that students from both our business and our computer science courses will be in the same classroom. There will be discussion forums, there will be assignments, there will be quizzes and graded exams. Again, the reason for this is to help you to vocalize and understand the skills that you're learning, not only from the career content that will be in the modules, but also what you're learning from the internship experience. Lastly, post-internship, you will receive lots of benefits from virtual internships, the partner directly. You will not only get a certificate of completion that you completed an internship, you will also get a reference from a host company. You will get access to a LinkedIn group with other virtual internships alumni. You will get access to their alumni group. You will get continued career support. And you can also earn a Career Bridge certificate of completion. Career Bridge is the career curriculum and content that virtual internships offers directly. And that's also another type of certification that you can earn during this program and be able to add to your resume. So now that I've talked for quite a few minutes, I want to make sure that I come back and answer any and all questions that you might have today. So please, I know there are questions. Please start to ask them in the chat or in the Q&A, and I will answer them as they come in. So I did see, obviously, there's a question about fees. So there will be no extra fees, but there is that $180 program course fee each course. And that is the totality of what would be asked of you to pay. You would not be asked to pay anything else, not to the university and not to the partner virtual internships. What other questions are there? For the computer science track, what are the most common technical skills or programming language required by host companies? That is an excellent question. So one of the benefits of virtual internships, this partner, is that they are partnered with thousands of employers. So the way that the match works with them is that they're actually asking directly from the student, what skills do you think you are either good at or have experience in or want to develop and learn for your future career? And that's how they would match you with the host company. So you don't need to have very specific technical skills. What you need to be able to do is articulate and explain to virtual internships what types of projects technically would be of interest to you. Is there any scholarship towards the $180 fee? No, there is no scholarship, partial or full, that you can utilize for this program. This is a pay in advance, pay on your own program. And no, there will not be any additional exam fees. The $180 is inclusive of all the fees, everything that you would need to pay for each course. There will be no fees, nothing like that. I'd like to know more about program completion and a possible chance for remote contract work. I'm not sure I totally understand that question, so let me answer it as I interpreted it, but please feel free to correct me if this is not what you are looking for. Once you complete the internship experience, approximately 28% of students are offered an opportunity to continue on with their host company in some capacity. Now, what that means again is it could be paid full-time or part-time work, Could be a contract position to work on a specific project, or it could be the opportunity to stay on in an internship capacity and continue to get experience but not be paid. Now, it is entirely up to a student whether or not they would accept any of those terms post-internship, right? This internship is unpaid during the program experience. It's entirely up to the student whether or not, if you are offered something, you would like to stay on with the host company. There's no requirement in any way for you to stay on, but if offered the opportunity, you have that choice. Let's see here. For the second course, I understand it's 15 hours per week. Are those 15 hours considered the threshold, or can it be more than that? Very great question. I would say that is really up to the host company and the student. So if you are extremely excited, you have ability to work more hours, you want to work on more projects, gain more experience, you can certainly work with your host company to do that. The requirement for the course, in order for the course to be credit bearing and for you to earn credits here at the university through the course, it must be at least 15 hours of work a week so that it is equivalent to other courses here at the university and meets our accreditation requirements. Will there be consultancy work internship? I'm not sure I know exactly what that question is referring to. So if you could expand on that, I would be happy to answer. Will I need to take other courses during the internship, or can I be enrolled only in the internship program? Great question. Either one. You can either take other courses at the same time, or you can be enrolled only in the virtual internship program and be in just that course. The one thing that I will say is that for those of you who think you are graduating or expected to graduate, let's say at the end of term 3, you would need to extend your graduation. So you would not be able to request for graduation until after the virtual internship program is completed. You have to be an active registered student to participate in this program. How do you continue internship with the university assignment and a personal job? So that's personal, right? You would have to see, can you personally commit to the 15 hours of internship while at the same time doing coursework and your own job? We certainly have students who are doing that and doing that successfully, but again, that is sort of a personal choice, understanding whether or not you have the capability of being able to do that. Do we think you can do that? Yes. However, I can't tell you whether or not you would feel good about doing that or whether or not you can get that accomplished. Only you would know that. What else? What other questions might you all have about this experience or opportunity? You asked some really good questions already, ones that certainly I have heard versions of. So that's a great means. Hopefully everything is being answered. Okay, let's see here. Will the internship program give us the opportunity to train with major consulting firms? I would say not necessarily major consulting firms, right? So there are thousands of partners at virtual internships. I also encourage you to go look directly at their website. I mean, anytime you work with an outside partner, it's always good to do a little bit of investigatory work about them. So you can read reviews, you can look at their website, you can see some of the experiences of other students who have participated in programs with them. But oftentimes companies that can offer internships are not the, Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 companies. They're oftentimes companies that have the capability to mentor and work with interns. So I can't guarantee these are major companies. I can just guarantee that you have opportunities to interview and potentially match with a variety of different companies in a variety of different industries. Here's a question about flexibility. I'm already working. Will you be able to set a range of hours that suits the schedule? So here is the beauty of it being remote. Now think about this. If you worked for a company different time zone, you could still work with them during a normal work schedule, but outside of your work schedule and be able to accomplish that flexibility. You could also potentially use like a lunch hour time to meet with the supervisor or a break time. So yes, there is definitely flexibility. You would need to communicate that directly with virtual internships so they understand what your needs are. So for instance, I work in Southern California. Many of my peers work 3 hours ahead of my time zone. That allows me to do calls oftentimes early in the morning before the day here started, before I have to get my daughter ready for school, all of those things. That gives me the flexibility to do the work, but I am also, means I am working at some early hours, sometimes 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. When must you pay for the second part of the virtual internship? So as I mentioned, you must pay the entirety of the fees before the course begins. So if term 3 starts January 29th, you must pay your course fee of $180 before January 29th. The second course starts on April 9th. You must pay $180 before April 9th. I am finishing my last 3 classes required at the end of February by taking on this 2-course internship. I would have to push my graduation to the end. Yes, that is correct. You would have to push your graduation till the end of term 4, which is, I believe, June of 2026. So yes, that is correct. How are we selected for this program? We keep our same course advisor. Yes, you keep your same course advisor. You are selected for this program because you are in one of the programs that's being included in virtual internship. So as I mentioned, it's computer science and business administration. So those 2 programs. You're also a degree seeking student, meaning that you are fulfilling your credits to earn a degree here at the university. And you have, we try to help with the situation of the student who just asked about, finishing up their last classes. We try to invite students who still have several credits left to graduate so that you don't always have to extend your graduation. I realize that happens sometimes, but we try to make sure that you still have a little bit of room in your credit load to take a program like this. What are the typical tasks or responsibility of an intern? So they won't be typical. I can't give you an answer to that. As I mentioned, you are going to be providing some insight to virtual internship about the type of work that you want to do. The host company is going to provide to virtual internship the types of projects that they have available, and then they will try to do a match based on that information. So I wouldn't say it is typical, but of course it is aligned with the type of skills that you learn in your program here. These are really, really great questions. So please feel free to continue asking the questions. I'm also trying to think if there's any commonly asked questions that you all have not asked yet, just to make sure I give you all of the information. I think one of the other things to think about is just spending a bit of time after this webinar to sort of digest the information, do a bit of investigatory work on your own about the partner virtual internships. Make sure that the commitment to this program feels like something that you can follow through with. And the reason I say that is because it's unfortunate if you go through the first course of this program and you go through the interviews and you get matched with the host company, and then for some reason you can't complete the internship experience, right? And that's why it's a 2-course commitment, and why we want to make sure that that's very fully explained, to make sure that you as a student feel like you can commit to that. Will we need special platforms to be installed? No, you do not. This course will still exist in Moodle in your LMS. It will direct you to Virtual Internships platform. And for that, you just will need to log on to their site, which will be like creating an account with Virtual Internships to complete your application. As far as any platforms that need to be installed during the work experience, it's possible depending on what the company utilizes, right? Maybe they use a certain interface to communicate like Slack or Microsoft Teams or something like that. But that would be a discussion with your host company. If there were any challenges, you could also address that directly with Virtual Internships, the partner. Would you ever be expected to do an in-person meeting? No, this internship is entirely virtual. The experience is entirely virtual. Which also means if you're someone interested in working in another country in the future, you could also let Virtual Internships know that during your matching process to be matched with a company in another country than you live in, perhaps. What else? I'm trying to think if there's any other questions I can think of that haven't been asked. Let's see here. I see a long list of, oh, okay, here, great, okay. Mastery in technical skills is not a must for placement. No, mastery in technical skills is not. This is an internship, so companies know that you are a student, that you are learning, that you are gaining and developing skills. And so I know why you're asking that, but no, as an internship, that is not required, right? What is required is that you have the excitement to do the work, the commitment to do the work, the ability to continue learning and growing. And it's the beauty of actually doing an internship before you go out and look for your permanent employment. I know you already presented some statistics, but do we have statistics from the university? It's a great question. So right now, we currently have students actually going through the program at the university. They won't finish up their internship experience until the end of January. So we will have some statistics come February, I imagine. But virtual internship does guarantee that at least 20% of students get an opportunity to continue the work. Now, again, what that means, as I explained, differs, but we do expect that the partner will live up to everything that they have said and live up to their own statistics. And so we have no reason to believe that won't be true. Will the internship help me gain future employment if the company I train with has a branch in my home country? Possibly, right? That really depends on your performance and, how well you do in the internship and the relationships that you make during your internship. So of course, none of that is a guarantee, but it certainly can't hurt. Are the VI partners global in nature? They are global. Yes, actually, virtual internships, even their employees are global as well. So the individuals that I work with there are in Brazil and England. And so everyone is global, even that works for virtual internships, and the partners are global as well. Can I repeat the program if needed to be able to do more than one internship? That's an interesting question. I presume that you could. I don't know that you would necessarily need to, or I would say that the experience you get from this should give you the confidence, some of those real world experiences to put on your resume to help actually launch you in your next step to a job, whether that be a contract work, a full-time, a part-time job in your industry. But the hope is that this gives you enough skills and confidence to actually go out into the job market. Is there a pass fail with this? This is a graded course. Finishing the components in the course requirements is also critical, just like any other course. But the assignments, as I mentioned, are very much attached to the experience you're getting in the internship. Again, these are all great questions, so please keep asking. These are unpaid internships. As I have mentioned, these are unpaid, so you do not get paid to do the internship. And this is simply to help you gain experience, to help build your network, to give you the confidence to go out into the job market, but very much in the sense of a true internship experience. This is unpaid. This is really to help gain skills. Is this a program that will continue to be offered at the university? Yes, we hope so. So our intent right now is to be able to offer this over the next few terms. Since this is a third-party partner that we're working with, right? Obviously, virtual internships is not part of University of the People. We're partnering with them. We can't guarantee being able to continually offering being able to continue the offering over any length of time. But our hope is that, yes, we will be able to continue offering this opportunity at least for the next couple of terms. And again, we realize this is a commitment. And so, we definitely encourage you to make sure this is something, if you register for this course 1 in term 3, that it's something you feel like you can continue on to into term 4 to finish out the second course. So great question. How can you register? So as I mentioned, when your registration period opens in just about a week or two, you will actually see virtual internships as a pop-up on your registration page. It will be right there in a different color. It'll be very easy to see. Then you will be able to register directly for the program. You will click on the button for registration. It will take you to a consent form, which will explain some of the details I have explained today around the commitment, the time commitment, the 2 consecutive courses, the payments. You will click consent, and then you will be able to register and add it to your course load. You will be, and then we will help you register for the second course of the program. So all of that is taken care of on your registration page. And then you'll start the course like every other course in Moodle, right? Where you do all of your current work as well. Yes, the second course is the actual internship. So again, the time commitment here is 2 terms. So the second term will be the internship hours. Hope that clarifies. What else? What else? I'm trying to think if I can think of anything else also. You will obviously get an email sort of summarizing what I've talked about today, as well as get access to this webinar recording, access to a guide about virtual internships. And please, you can always reach out to ask questions when you get the follow-up email from this webinar. There will be an email address that you can send questions to in case you think of questions after your time with me today. So not to worry, you will still have the opportunity to ask questions, particularly if they come to you after. And since registration doesn't start for several days, lots of time to think, ask questions, get any clarification, do some research. And I certainly encourage you to do that, because I think, as someone in career services, I think this is a great opportunity, but it also is different than your typical courses here at the university, because it is 2 consecutive courses, because you are working with a third party. And so I definitely understand the need to think about it and make sure that it really aligns with what you have time to do, what your intentions are. So I encourage you to do that. I think it's important when you're making a commitment like this that you really think about it. So I think someone posted that they got a message from virtual internship they've been accepted. You're probably someone who's actually already in one of the cohorts. If so, then um, uh, your question is a bit separate. And I would say if you have any questions about the program while you're in it, you should be either messaging Career Services at University of the People directly or your program advisor. So we can help you with that, and or actually message your placement team at Virtual Internships. They can also help with that as well. But a bit separate from learning about the program today. All right. Well, I want to take a moment just to say thank you again for your time, whether it was your morning, your afternoon, your evening, or your late night. Thank you for spending some time in this webinar and learning about virtual internships and this program. I do hope that this could be something that would appeal to you and that you'll be able to take advantage of. Again, you'll get a follow-up email with all of this information. Then again, several more opportunities to ask questions. So I thank you for your time, and I wish you all a great rest of your day.